Tingles with flyby. So good to see you again. How's it been going? How did your daughter like the knives? Oh, that's good to hear. So, you have another daughter getting married. Okay. I know it's been a little while, but not too long. Probably quick time to have some weddings together. Oh, no, I can perfectly understand that. I can just walk you through everything we have again. That's not an issue at all. Yeah, are you alright if I just sit down? Then I can roll out my knives, obviously, and show you through. Okay. So this is the nice leather case that I keep all my knives in. It's a nice dark blue color. And I have a little more wear on it since the last time I saw you. I've been a bit busy. Yes, well, people do buy these up like hotcakes. They are quite popular. So I just wanted to remind you, all of our knives, all of these Cutco knives, they are made only in New York. We only do full tang knives, so they are quite high quality. They go all the way to the bottom of the knife, and then they're held together by these 3 divots. So they have a beautiful sheen to them, as you can see here, and you have 2 options for the colors of the knives. You can either go with this lovely pearly white color, or what we call the classic. That one's more black. So what you'll notice on this white is that it's not all just one pure shade of white. It's actually got a little bit of a marbling effect. And that happens because there's actually other colors of beads that are mixed in. I was actually sent to Olean, so have been to the factory. So they have these huge tubs full of the beads of the resin that's used to make this knife. And in the white ones, there's kind of a little bit of a white shade, kind of a cream shade, but then there's also a little bit of a turquoise shade, which you can't see any in here because it's a really small amount that's in there, but it does help add to that marble effect on the knife, which I think makes them look very nice. On the classic knives, you can see it's a very black color, but it does have a marbling effect as well. Not sure this one, you might be able to see a little bit of red. I think I have one here. This one actually shows it off really well. So you can see a little bit of red in there. Just again making it have that nice marbling effect. You can see this knife is weighted quite nicely as well, but we'll go through that in just a little bit. So you do remember this knife. Yeah, I haven't gotten it fixed. It's actually always a really good illustration piece for when I am out on these sales calls. I could get it replaced, but obviously just showing the type of things that we will replace. So you can get lifetime sharpening on all your double D edges, which I'll go through the double D edge in just a little bit. And then you also get lifetime replacement for any defects or anything like this. So this knife breaking just happened in the course of life, nothing bad done. And so this would be eligible for that. So you just send it back to the factory, and if they can fix it, they'll fix it. Otherwise, they'll just send you a brand new knife. But for if you did do something, maybe you left it on the stove, or it somehow ended up in the oven, or people do all sorts of crazy things. And so if you have any issues like that, we do also have a lifetime misuse and abuse policy. So that is if you have any issues with your knives caused by yourself, you can get them replaced for 50% off. So that's a really, really nice deal. So just to remember. So all of these are made, again, in the United States, in the factory. So you're supporting American jobs, and it's really a really great product, and then it's a very high quality. So let me go through. This is the homemaker range. So this is usually the range that I recommend for your average home. We do also have an entertainer set, which has even further knives in it. It's quite a large set, has a cleaver and other things like that. But if you're just looking for just the basics, just kind of your normal cooks, this should cover pretty much everything. So I'll go through all of the pieces and what uses they have. So first we have our paring knife. See, it just has a nice small blade. It is a straight blade, and this is really good. The straight blade, this one especially since it's so thin, it's very good for paring. I mean, it's called a paring knife, but so cutting the tops out of strawberries, out of tomatoes, kind of cutting a banana, that sort of thing. But when it does first come, it will be quite sharp. I would recommend a sharpener with this, or other knives are with the double D or stay sharp, basically for about 10 years, but after that you get free sharpening. So, but this is, you would want a sharpener for it. So it's really good for those little jobs like that. And I didn't actually discuss the double D edge, so let's go into that. It's easiest to see it from the back, actually. So you can see it looks a lot like a serrated edge right here. And it has this little shape that's kind of like that. So the idea is you have this really sharp edge on these little bits that are in here, and then you have these little protective edges, And they're protecting the knife, actually. They're protecting the sharpness of the blade so that you will maintain the sharpness of your blade. Now, of course, I wouldn't recommend running your hands over your knives like these, but I know my knives quite well, so I know what I can do. This we have is the trimmer. So called because it is great for jobs such as cutting the fat off of chicken. It's nice for slicing tomatoes, slicing lots of things if you're cutting open an avocado. It's good for that. Or anything about this size. About that size. You can see it's about the perfect size for this blade. And it has a very sharp blade, so it should get through pretty much most things that you would need it to. Only for more robust things would we need to go to the butcher knife, which I think is that one. We'll get to that one in a moment. So that is our trimmer. This is a big favorite, and quite a little unique knife actually. This is the spatula spreader. It's quite flexible, you can see that. So this is, I've just got fingerprints all over it. So this is actually a great knife. You can see it has the edge here, but it's also designed for being able to spread on frosting. It's really nice for cutting into your lasagna, but then you can scoop it out with the same implement. It's good for serving pies, anything right out of the pan, so casseroles and that sort of thing. So it's really quite a versatile and nice little knife. So I think it's essential in any kitchen. Next we have the petite carver. So for the trimmer, I told you it's good for things about that size. This is kind of the next size up. This is good for cutting things like cantaloupe, honeydew, anything a bit larger. Maybe even a grapefruit, if you need to cut up a grapefruit. It's got a bit of a thicker handle. And all of the handles, you can see, they're not just a little ridge with the handle there. They are actually built to be ergonomic, but they are also ambidextrous. So you have the curving on both sides, so that it should fit comfortably in one or the other hand. And lots of people may not think that ergonomics is that important, but I think, especially if you're someone who likes to cook at home for most of your meals, then you may be spending a lot of time cutting and making sure that you're giving your hand the support it needs and not putting strain on it is quite an important part. But you can see the handle here. It's a bit wider than our other ones, and that's just to hold the weight of the blade. So this does have a nice long double D edge here. And it's also good for carving smaller items, such as a roast chicken. If you do a small roast, like a pork loin roast, it's good for that sort of thing as well. And it's complemented by the turning fork. So this is kind of a little carving pair. You can hold your turning fork in and carve just like that. So this is your turning fork. Has a nice sized handle. this is the two forks you will see are not full tang because the nature of them, they don't really need to be. And so they kind of disappear, so you don't have that characteristic line across the side and the divots showing. This one has 3 tips, and it's just quite a light, and this can be used as well if you're cooking bacon and you need to flip sides, anything you kind of need to spear in a frying pan and turn over. If you're doing some roast vegetables and you need to turn them over, you can do that if you're taking that out of the oven. So it's quite a handy implement. And especially, obviously, when you're roasting something, then these two work quite nicely together. So always, I'm going to leave it out because you can see I have a few holes in there. Here we have the butcher knife. In the homemaker set, this is the strongest knife, and for most domestic purposes, this should meet all of your needs without issue. You can see that the divots on this are quite wide and thick, and you can see the blade itself is quite thick as well. It has this beautiful shape, a little bit of a curve here, this nice little curve. Reminds me a little bit of a pirate knife. And because it's such a strong blade, because of its thickness, it's very good for cutting through bones. It's also good for really heavy squashes. So if I need to cut through a butternut squash, something like that, then this is really, really quite ideal. And it's, just makes you feel a little powerful as well when you're holding it in the hand. So this would probably be the one I would grab if I had any unwanted intruders in the house. So it can have that dual benefit as well. But so this is really good if you buy chickens whole. You can use this butcher knife to cut it up yourself, and that can save you a bit of money. And you also can get exposed to a few different parts. It's good for cutting through cartilage and bone. It's not quite as good as a cleaver at cutting through bone. It takes a little bit of work, but it's really great for making your first cut in watermelon and that sort of thing. So this is another one I feel is quite essential, because you always have that job that you don't really feel like you have the knife for. That is what this is for. So that, just made a new hole. It's definitely not the first hole. Here we have a chef's knife. We have this one, and you can also go the French chef, which goes a bit longer. I think this is about perfect for most things, but if you do have items that you need to chop a lot that are a bit bigger than about that size, then you may want to opt for the other size. This again has a very nice sized handle, and this is a great for chopping. It's designed to really go through this swivel action, and it really does that quite well. So that's good for chopping onions, chopping tomatoes, capsicum, red peppers, squash, anything really you need to chop. It's great for potatoes or anything you need to slice as well. That isn't like, I wouldn't be really for cheese, but it's good for slicing mushrooms or anything like that. It's a big workhorse in the kitchen and can make it a lot quicker, so I think your daughter would really appreciate this knife in her collection. And, you know, I'm pretty sure we got her sister the homemaker set as well, so you can't give one and not the other. Oh, yeah, no, I'm sure that I just mean I'd definitely, she'd be missing a few knives if she goes to her sister's house and sees what she has. So the next one we have is the carving knife. You can see it has a nice shape. It's quite a beautiful knife, I think. And this is for your turkey dinners, Thanksgivings, Christmases, any of your larger roasts. And it has its own carving fork as well. So this one's quite big. You see it'll fit in well into a leg of ham or into a turkey, of course. And so these are a great pair. You can hold one in. Just like that. You can work your way right through. So, really quite a good set. Yep. There we go. And I'm probably going to put another hole in. Yep. There we go. That was an already existing hole, so that doesn't count. And then the last main knife that we have is the slicer here. Now it's also called a shredder, but the official name is the slicer. You can see it's a very long, thin blade, no point at the top. A little less weighty than the last ones we've been looking at. Still has our 3 divots and of course full tang. But so this is great if you make any homemade bread. This would be your implement for slicing it, but this is great for shredding cabbage, cutting up lettuce, anything kind of like that. And if you buy French bread and you need to slice it, then this is your slicer. It's really great for that because it has a nice long blade, so you can really get a nice long sawing motion. So it's definitely quite a useful one. So that's the full set. So you can get the homemaker with and without table knives. So let me show you the table knives just to tell you why you should get the ones with the table knives. No, but I really think these are a beast in the kitchen and quite useful. So this is our take on the steak knife. So it has a nice double D edge, so it's really sharp, obviously. You can get these in the classic or the white, either one. And it's not a full blade, not a full tang, it just kind of goes in there. But it is, yeah, as I said, a replacement for a steak knife, but you can use it. The reason we call it a table knife is that you can use it as a table knife as well. This can be used to spread butter on your bread, or just to help cut your food, whether that be lasagna or whatever your food may be. But it's also robust enough that if you end up having steak or something like that, it's ready for the job. And I think it's a good backup. Sometimes if one of your other knives is a little dirty that you might want to use for probably one of these two, then you can use the table knife kind of in a pinch. And so it does come with 8. And so I think it's a really, really nice option. And you can actually get matching silverware as well. So, I mean, I figured when you called me that we were probably going to be making a deal. But let me just tell you a couple other things. So, we have to choose. So you are set on the homemaker, I assume? Okay, good. And did you want to go with the table knives? Great. I think that's a good option. So, with the knives, you do have a couple options for storage. I do really recommend storage. Obviously, these weren't the cheapest knives, as you may remember from last time, but they are very high quality, and so you want to make sure that they'll be cared for. And so getting the proper storage is really important for that. So you do have options for trays. We have plastic trays. They're kind of a creamy plastic, and they can sit in drawers. They can also be mounted on a wall. And so your knives would sit in there. You would have 2 trays for the knives, and then 2 smaller trays for your table knives. Yeah. But what I think is really the way to go is a nice wood block. You can get it in oak, which is just kind of a tannish stain, or you can get it in cherry wood, which is a gorgeous deep stain. And if you get it with the white, those two just look really stunning together. I usually recommend the classic with the oak, and then the white with the cherry wood. So do you know at all what their color scheme is for their kitchen? Oh, well, if they're going to have cherry wood cabinets, probably want to go the cherry wood block then. It also makes it so convenient. The knives can just be sitting there ready for anything that you'll need. You just pull them out, you just give them a quick clean, and you can pop them back in as well. So, really convenient. So when is the wedding? Just need to make sure, obviously, we have our order in time. I can organize it ahead of time. If we don't have to get it shipped in, we do have some local stock if you need something sooner. Okay, it is quite soon. Okay, well, I will bring those personally then. Did you want me to bring them? Okay, yeah, no, I can definitely bring them then. So we wanted so we're doing the white then. So white in the cherry wood. That'll look gorgeous with the table knives. Did you want the shears? Yeah, I must have forgotten my pair of shears. And then there's also the peeler, cheese knife, anything like that. There's also a really great ice cream scoop. To go the entertaining pack well. Okay, I'll get you all those. So, yeah, so I'll bring those by next week then. Did you want me to get that gift wrapped for you or anything like that? You guys want to do that yourself? Okay, that's great. Then I will just bring the knives by. Obviously they come in their original packaging, so they will look really nice as they are. So you should just need to wrap them up, and that should be great. Well, I think that does it, unless, did you guys, because I don't think, Did I end up fitting you guys with any knives last time? Well, you know, it doesn't always have to be about the children, does it? And when there's such lovely knives. Yeah, you can go for a smaller set if you're not cooking quite as much. I mean, so we have the slicer and the butcher knife. You may not need those necessarily. But you'd like one in a block. I do have one that goes the trimmer and the spatula, the petite carver, and the chef's knife. So those 4 knives, and then that one, that a little closer to you, and then that one actually comes in a nice flat wooden, yeah, that one is an oak. I don't think that one comes in the cherry. Let me just check the list. Yeah, that one doesn't come in the cherry. That's okay. Okay, so you'll go the oak with the black. That sounds great. So those 4, does that sound good? Do you need any extras, any table knives on the side? Just those for now? Okay, well, you always know where to find me if you need anything else. I'm always happy to oblige. So, yeah, so I will see you next week. Did you need yours straight away? Okay, we only carry limited stock, so I always do it kind of only as a special favor, bringing it over from our office. So I'll bring the homemaker over next week, and it'll probably be a few more weeks until, and we'll get the other ones actually shipped out to you. Okay? So that'll just arrive at your house. Okay. Well, I think she's going to love the knives. Probably eyeing up her sisters and hoping she was going to be getting the same thing. So I think she's quite a lucky lady. And hopefully the gentleman will enjoy them as well. Oh, that's good to hear. Don't like antiquated rolls like that. And there's no reason a man can't put together a delicious, delicious meal either. Okay. Well, you guys have a wonderful time. Good luck with everything preparing to the wedding. It's really coming up on you soon. But it's just so exciting. Just close that up. And I will see you next time. Always a pleasure. Thank you for having me. I do appreciate it so much. Okay, bye-bye.